This will be the May 21st, 2014 City Council regular meeting.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's a regular meeting of the Satellite Beach City Council. The date is May 21st, 2014, and the time is 7 p.m. Would you please join me in a moment of silence, followed by the pledge? Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on our agenda is citizen comments. I would like to remind everyone that the council policies and procedures allow 5 minutes for each speaker under this portion of citizen comments. For citizen comments under an agenda item, it's 3 minutes. The city clerk will keep the time for us, and each speaker is requested to address the council. I'll open the floor for citizen comments.
Good evening, Council. Ron Jagutis, resident, Satellite Beach. I must state it's nice to see this new microphone here compared to the last couple of times. One of the issues that I'd like to bring up is, as resident in the CRA, the issue with COs. I don't know if the council can move it forward to the CRA to make a recommendation, or the CRA needs to be addressed. But I think we have an issue at this point in time. Tax-paying residents have no access at this point for COs to put on the dune. And I believe I brought this up in the past, whether it be at the CRA board meeting or city council, based on the facts what the county portrayed what was going to happen to the beach, based on what happened with the city. The city received COs. Obviously, the city has agreements with to get COs for free. And at the last meeting, I heard that they're deteriorating. And I believe that residents in the CRA who support this city, who provide a vital tax base, should receive some assistance at minimum to finding the COs. Because it is protecting the dune. It is also protecting the amount of money that has been spent by the county to renourish the dune. And I don't think that is correct at this point, not to have that going on, at least some form of access to it. Certainly the tax base, if it's not important, then so we will understand. But I do believe that is a vital importance to the community to keep the beach in place, especially when the tourism board talks about the beaches being one of the things that attracts tourists here. Second issue is, unrelated to the COs, and citizens may not have comment during this time, during the management report, city manager's report, is in regards to the evaluation. And I asked the assistant mayor whether I'm in bounds to speak on that subject at this point.
Mr. Jagutis, that's actually an agenda item in the city manager's report. If you wish to address it, then you'll be given the opportunity.
Well, if I wish to address it, will it be open for public comment? Because many times, items come up.
It will be open for public comment.
Okay, thank you. Now, how much time do I have left?
1 minute and 3 seconds.
Okay. I have another item. But I think it's best that I present it to the city manager prior to presenting it to the council. Thank you.
Are there any other citizen comments? Hearing none, I'll close this portion of the agenda. Mr. Jagutis, it would be beneficial to you to go and talk to the city manager about the COs issue or any of these other issues where she can take the time to answer your questions and concerns.
Thank you.
City council comments, starting on Ms. Allen. Ms. Deanon. Council comments.
I don't know if you know, but Flax Fish Grill has opened. They're the only restaurant on the beach. It's a great place, unique menu, great environment for those of you who'd like to try it. It's where the old Dove is. Also, our Beachside Little League teams are doing wonderful. They're in tournament time, so if you have an opportunity to attend a tournament, that would be great. The good thing about having a son on a good baseball team is that he's on a good baseball team. The bad thing is you have to attend a lot of baseball games. So after the tournament, the local championship will be held here in Satellite Beach. Regarding the COs, I would like that issue looked into. I know that the COs are, the ones that are planted are not in good condition, and if we can look into a way for residents to purchase COs to protect their properties, that would be great. I do have a question regarding the minutes. I'm curious to know who actually prepares the minutes?
Our city clerk.
City clerk prepares the minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I don't see the minutes from the last meeting. We don't have those yet?
Not yet.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Brown.
Been invited to speak tomorrow at the Aging Matters in Brevard on fall prevention. This is an organization that has supported Satellite Beach for quite some time, worked with not only myself but with Don Hughes. So it's just kind of a revitalization effort within their organization. They have caregivers that go out and provide Meals on Wheels and that sort of thing. So I'll give you a report back on it tomorrow, but it's nice to have Satellite Beach invited to do the presentation. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Montanaro.
I attended the Space Coast League of Cities meeting on May 12th. That was a meeting where Councilman Reimer made a presentation to the board there for the Communities for a Lifetime initiative that Satellite Beach pretty much initiated in Brevard County. So he got a very good response to that. And also, I participated in the Keep Brevard Beautiful cleanup at Pelican Beach Park a couple Saturdays ago. And Ian Shoba and his mom Kathy are volunteers with Keep Brevard Beautiful, and they do pretty much a monthly cleanup, if I'm not mistaken. And they have been doing this for a while at Pelican Beach Park. And I talked with Carrie about the possibility of doing some kind of an award for Ian. I mean, I don't know, Ian's probably about 11, 12 years old, something like that. But he's made a conscious effort pretty much monthly to be there to clean up our beaches. And, Courtney, is there something we can do as some kind of a council appreciation to recognize that?
Yeah, we can arrange that for the next meeting.
Okay, well, maybe I can get with you and we can figure out how we want to do that and invite Ian and his mom. That's all I have.
City Attorney's report, Mr. Beadle.
I have nothing.
City Manager's report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I wanted to start off by congratulating our Recreation Department for implementing a very successful farmers market. We actually added last Saturday, and was very successful. It's growing pretty much by the week. These are held each Thursday from 2 to 6, and the market now has a vendor selling gourmet spice and seasoning blends, and we will soon have a vendor selling teas, plants, and herbs. So pretty much every week we get another vendor, and it's growing in size and very much in popularity. So farmers markets are hard to do sometimes. We try them, and they're kind of a hit and miss, and this time we've been very successful, so congratulations to Carrie and her team for that. Our Public Works Department, I just wanted to give you an update on some of their activities. They have pretty much accomplished about 250 linear feet of sidewalk and gutter repairs along numerous drives and avenues that I listed in my report. I wanted to point out that we did hire some additional staff in October, which have helped pretty much throughout the department, but in this particular case, it's enabled us to save $11 per linear square foot because we're using our in-house resources for concrete work, and basically being able to do those repairs intermittently throughout the year in between our other jobs. So you'll see us continue those repairs throughout the year, and we are going to be concentrating on drainage areas, since that's pretty much what we have to deal with when we get into hurricane season. And it is with my deep sorrow that our deputy building official, Rob Perry, has resigned from the city and moved into the private sector. Mr. Perry is a very valuable staff member, and he's going to be very, very missed. I know our building official has been moping around for the last week since he's heard the news, but we did want to give, I wanted to publicly thank Mr. Perry for his valuable hard work and dedication to the city during his tenure, and we wish him the best. He's definitely going to be irreplaceable.
Before you move on, if I may interrupt you, I want to say a word about our Public Works Department. To me, these are really the unsung heroes on our staff. So many of our other departments have direct interaction with the public, so you get to see them, talk to them, and see what they do for you. But Public Works performs such an invaluable service for us. And starting with the department head, Alan Potter, they really do exceptional work, and I think all of our residents are grateful for them. And I will second your comments about Rob Perry. He's going to be a hard act to follow. You didn't run him off, did you, John? Okay. He basically got an offer he couldn't refuse, and so we are happy for him. It's bittersweet. But we wish him the best. I did want to comment on the COs. The last council meeting, Councilman Montanaro asked us to look into that, so we are. We're looking into the damaged COs, how many, and we're trying to contact our resources to see if we can order new ones, and look into where we would want to get those placed. So we are looking into that issue, and I'll be glad to update you as soon as I hear any specific information. I did have another informational item. This Saturday, at Long Doggers from noon until 4, our fire department is going to be holding a public safety day. And this is kind of exciting if you like fire trucks and apparatuses, they call them. And there'll be bounce houses, and I think the helicopter's going to land over in the Lighting Science parking lot. So it'll be very exciting, and it'll be good to come out and see your firefighters, and some of our police officers will be there as well. So if you have time to please stop by Long Doggers from noon until 4 this Saturday. I have 2 action items. The first is my employment contract specifies that I have a yearly evaluation completed by my contract date, which is April 30th. I have received 4 out of 5 of those evaluations, and I've received an average score of 142 out of a possible 150. I did want to thank each of the council members for your support and advice throughout this past year. It's an action item, and that I just hope, that you recognize that the evaluation, I hope, is complete. I'm still waiting on one, but we need to just finalize that and go on. So that's one action item, and I have one more. I don't know if you want to do separate public comment on the separate those.
For the public comment under the action items, do you want to separate those? I have one more after this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The second one is the soccer grant evaluation form, or grant authorization form I passed out to you. We did not receive, you approved this grant last year to submit. We did not get that grant. We need to resubmit, but the grant is due before the next council meeting, so I had to sneak this on to my report. We apologize, but it is exactly the same that you approved the last time, so nothing's changed. So we're just asking for your authorization to resubmit that grant.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Breimer, second by Mr. Montanaro, to approve the resubmission of the United States Soccer Foundation Safe Places to Play grant for the June 1st, 2014 cycle. Is there any council discussion?
No.
Are there any?
I have a comment. How much effort does it take to prepare a grant?
The first round is takes a little effort, but to resubmit, not much.
Oh.
Is that it? Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. I'll open the floor for citizen comments on the grant, and I will come back to the employment contract. So right now, it's citizens' comments for applying for the grant. Hearing none, I'll close citizen comments. Any other discussion by the council?
No.
Okay, Lenore, would you poll, please?
Councilwoman Dean?
Yes?
Councilman Montanaro?
Yes.
Councilman Breimer?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ross?
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, and I will open it, well, first of all, I will ask the council if they have any comments on the city manager's evaluation.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Will this become an agenda item with the evaluations in it for discussion? Or,
Unless you want me to do that, it's up to you.
I don't,
I looked back to see how the city's done it in the past, and it really was just kind of a report to council on what the evaluation was, and that was pretty much it. So unless council has a different way of doing it, I'm open. I'll be glad to schedule an agenda item if that's what you would like, but I just looked at the past to see how it was done.
Any other council comments?
I have none.
Okay, I'll open the floor for citizen comments on the city manager's evaluation.
Ron Jagutis, resident Satellite Beach. We have this as an action item. Is it not appropriate to include the evaluations in the agenda? Or have I missed that they are on here, perhaps, through the 42 pages? If I have missed it, I apologize. But shouldn't the evaluations be made public during the agenda?
Continue with your comments and questions, and we'll make sure they're answered.
That's the biggest concern. And then the next issue is that I know what the city manager stated here, that they followed along in the past. I believe there was one year that there was a submittal of a different format, and I would have hoped that city council would have taken the time and gone through the process of evaluating the form and determining whether it is appropriate. It's not about discounting the city manager's performance. This is about the City of Satellite Beach Corporation attesting to the fact that they are comfortable with a specific format in front of the taxpayers would be that would be the AKA shareholders. I would think that you would have wanted to address this in a public forum and bring it forward. I'm a little disappointed in that. Certainly there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 council members, and they could present certain issues to see where they stand. I'm a little befuddled by that. But nonetheless, it is what it is right now, and then we don't see the results. That is all.
Thank you. Any other public comment on the city manager's evaluation?
Dale Abrams, resident. I just don't feel like this has been transparent. I spent a lot of time here when we chose the city manager, and there was a lot of transparency at that particular time. And I feel like the council should have come up with the evaluation document and not the city manager. And the other question I have is the metrics, okay? There's no explanation on the metrics and how we came up with 150, and she came in with 142. So going forward, and I don't know if you want to use this with other management positions in the city, you might want to revisit this and come up with some type of form that you all create, okay, for the citizens of the community, because as Ron stated, we are the shareholders in this community, and by us not actually seeing the document and actually seeing the results of the document being filled out by council members, I don't think it's transparent at all.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments on the city manager's evaluation? Yes.
Steve Headley, resident. I'm going to go the other side of the net here. We have a mechanism through sunshine laws, Freedom of Information Acts, whatever, to get the evaluation of any employee that works for the city. I may disagree with your evaluation, okay? I'm uncomfortable with a ping pong of any employee's evaluation being bantered back and forth in a public forum like this. I'm uncomfortable with that. I've never seen it done in a private industry, and I would be, it's one thing to sit there and go, okay, I want to find out what you guys liked about it, liked about the performance, and I'm going to use her, any city manager, okay? I'm uncomfortable with bantering that back and forth. Unless you want to give the stockholders, the shareholders, or whatever you want to call it, an actual evaluation, we have the right to see it, per se, through a Freedom of Information Act, but I'm uncomfortable with bantering it back and forth, like in an open forum such as this. It can be brought up perhaps by someone, but just to throw it out there, I think there's just way too much that goes into an evaluation. I've done hundreds of them. It makes me uncomfortable.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments on the city manager's evaluation? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment portion. To answer the questions that were asked, is the evaluation form appropriate? This is the same evaluation form that has been used for many, many years to evaluate the city manager. At any time that any city council member had a problem with it, they could have raised the issue. I'm speaking just for myself. I think it was a thorough form. I think it hit on the appropriate topics to be evaluated, and so I did not see any need to change the form. That form was not created by the city manager. As I said, that form has been in use for many, many years. And as for the evaluations being public, The fact that they are not discussed at a city council meeting does not mean that they're not public. They're covered by the public records law, and anyone who wishes to see those evaluations simply has to contact City Hall. And I want to say this. It was a pleasure for me to rate Courtney Barker as our new city manager. I could not possibly be more pleased with her performance. From the day she sat down in that chair, she understood what the job was. And one of the things that helped her so tremendously was her knowledge of our city, having lived here for many, many years, and her involvement in our city. So she always had that perspective from the very beginning, and it has been extremely helpful to us. I don't see, there is one question on there, on that form, that regards what should the city manager do that the city manager is not currently doing. And I frankly left that one blank because I think that she is really doing an outstanding job in every phase of her performance. And I just wanted to say that as a public comment.
I wanted to comment that what we did with this city manager evaluation is the same that we've done over the years with city manager evaluations. And I would echo Lorraine's comments. I left two of them blank because there wasn't anything that she was doing that I wasn't comfortable with. But I will say this also. Anytime in the past there were issues with what I felt at the time, Mike Roddy, when he was city manager, if there was something that I did on my evaluation that I thought Mike needed to be aware of, I handled it personally with Mike. I don't think that's anything that needed to be handled in a public forum. The evaluations are public record documents. You can request them and get them. That's all I have.
Mr. Brown.
As you know, I've been on council for a long, long time, and I came in under David Schechter and have been here quite some time. In all the years, Courtney, I have never seen the actual evaluations in the packet. I've seen the numbers tabulated in the packet, but never the actual evaluations. So in that light, I'm pleased to see how they come forward. And if I wanted to see what Lorraine or Cheryl or anybody had to say, I'd be happy to go look at those. But I see no reason to put them in the packet. I mean, it just doesn't need to be done. So I think you continued what we have been doing, and please continue to do so. That's all I have.
Any other council comments?
Yeah, I would just want to clarify. So the form that was presented is the same form that was used when Mike Roddy was here?
Yes,
Identical.
that's the last.
Okay.
So I didn't create that form.
Okay.
I just wanted to make that
sure.
very clear. I didn't
And then
create that.
I heard that the numbers were perhaps maybe an agenda item. Did I hear you correctly, Mark? That you have seen as an agenda, so you see the final numbers?
What happens is the final numbers come out, Cheryl, and at that point, we have to accept those final numbers based on the tabulation or not accept those numbers, that sort of thing. So the numbers come forward as the overall average of the 5 council members, and then we act based on that.
Okay, so eventually there will be an agenda item with those numbers in action.
If you turn yours in, yes, I can do that.
Well, and since she's going to say I didn't turn it in because I had a lot of questions about the form and how the form was generated and why I didn't have input on the form, and obviously this meeting clarified a lot of things.
Any other council comments?
The form was out for a month. I think you gave us a month to complete that form. Was that not right?
Yeah.
If you had questions, why didn't you ask them in that month? I mean,
Why are you point of order, please? I don't really want to be directed by another
because you're
council
making
member.
statements that
Point of
nobody
order.
told you about the form.
I didn't say no one told me about the form. I said I had questions about it.
Or then you can respond, Stephen.
I have a problem when we're given something, we have a month to take care of it, and it doesn't get taken care of. I'm just bewildered that it doesn't get taken care of in a timely manner. That's all I have to say.
Ms. Zenon, do you have any comment?
Yeah, I just believe the question should be asked in a transparent manner, and it came up as an action item, and I asked it, and I explained why I didn't do the form. I don't need to be questioned by another council member. I think it was a point of order and should have been corrected.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is a presentation by the Department of Elder Affairs regarding CFA, which is Communities for a Lifetime program. And Councilman Reimer has been involved for a number of years now in the CFAL program and has really been helping to shepherd it. And so I'd like to call on Mr. Reimer to introduce this agenda item.
Thanks, Lorraine. I'd like to take are you going to do a presentation go ahead and get on up there, Michelle. Okay. I've known Michelle Muley for many, many years. She currently works at the Department of Elder Affairs, and as of next week, she's going to be moving over to the Department of Health. She drove down here from Tallahassee to give us a presentation. She knows how important CFAL is in Satellite Beach and the process is being regenerated within the county. So it's a real honor to have her here. She's really an expert on the Communities for a Lifetime process and fall prevention. She's very involved with the Florida State University broadcast that we do each year in September. And actually, it's been put together with her assistance so that some of the broadcast attendees are not only in the United States, but they're outside of the country. So it's had some really good feedback. She's also very knowledgeable on evidence-based programs, and may talk about some of that. She also is one of our go-to people for Carrie and for Don Hughes on grants. She's been a big supporter of Satellite Beach and getting our grants for fall prevention and actually all of Brevard County. So it's a real honor to have her here, and she's going to give us an update on what's going on in the state of Florida. And Michelle, I'll turn it over to you, and thank you for being here.
Which is more comfortable for you?
It doesn't matter. I just don't want to turn my back totally to everyone.
Okay, well, address the council. Don't address the audience.
So I'm going to give an update.
John, can you help with the presentation on the laptop?
Oh, that's not good. Okay. I'm going to give an update on the falls prevention initiatives, both on the national level and on a statewide level as well. So, first of all, on a national level, there's 1/3 Americans age 65 that fall each year. If you could go ahead and turn to one more. Thank you. And falls are the leading cause of fatal injury and the most common cause of non-fatal trauma-related hospital admissions among the older adults. I don't know if you guys are aware, but I do have a handout, so if you're not able to see that, then I have it here as well. So financial toll of the older adult falls is expected to increase as the population ages and may reach $61.6 billion by 2020. So for the on the national side, the state of Florida is one of 43 states that participate in the National Falls Free Coalition. So that's with the Department of Elder Affairs and the Department of Health. So I just wanted to, bring that to everyone's attention that we do serve on a national level besides, trying to assist our state to reduce the incidence of falls. For the national, we'll go to the next slide, please. The National Falls Prevention Awareness Day is September 23rd, which this year is during the middle of the week. But it's the theme is Strong Today, Falls Free Tomorrow. The color for National Falls Prevention Awareness Day is yellow, so they usually ask everyone to try to wear the color yellow to bring about awareness for Falls Prevention Awareness Day. So some states do it for the month, some states do it for the day, some states do it for a week, but it varies upon, among the nation on what individuals want to do for National Falls Prevention Awareness Day or month or week. So our state usually does a webcast, which I'll go into further detail. But there is the website for the National Council on Aging, who oversees the Falls Free Coalition that was on the previous slide. So for for Florida falls facts, I'm going to go into detail on those. The unintentional falls are leading cause of injury death among Floridians age 65 and older. In 2011, there were 2,295 residents were fatally injured in a fall. So 61,036 were hospitalized for non-fatal injuries.
So what we're doing in the state of Florida, we've done our webcast, which Mark has participated in, so has Don Hughes in the past, and we thank both of them for their falls prevention initiatives in this area. This year, we're going to do our webcast. It will be held September 10th. Now, the time did change today, so my slide is incorrect. It's from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Mark has been asked to be our moderator again this year for our webcast, which will be held in Tallahassee. It's publicized not only in our state. We try to, branch it off to all the aging networks and anybody interested in falls prevention initiatives throughout the state, but we also send it off to the national level as well. And then we've had people from other states, Hawaii, Alaska, Connecticut, several states, and then last year we also had some international people from, I think it was Iceland or something like that. There was another, so we've broadened our horizon internationally, which is pretty well recognized. So everyone always looks forward to our webcast every year. And on the national call this year, which I had last week, they were interested in making sure they wanted to hear what we had to share, and who is going to be our presenters. So we do have our presenters. Some of the topics that we're going to be discussing this year will be exercise, medications, mobile integrated healthcare, hip fractures, and falls related injury. So we have a good group of people that will be speaking. So we just encourage you guys to participate on our webcast. Hopefully that information, that link will be available soon. So, Mark will be able to share that information with you at a later date. Okay, so I'm going to go into the next slide. Thank you. The top two falls prevention initiatives that we've been focusing on in our state has been there are two evidence-based programs, and evidence-based are programs that have been proven to be effective in making healthy behavioral changes. So the first one is the Tai Chi Moving for Better Balance, which our goal team for the Department of Health has been trying to promote and bring about awareness of that program, and it's actually taken off everywhere. So throughout the entire state, we're delivering that program right now. The other program is A Matter of Balance. So I'm going to go into detail on both of those two interventions that are currently being done. But in the future plans that both state agencies have been looking into is both Stepping On and Otago. So those are two evidence-based programs that we haven't been they haven't delivered yet in our state, but they will be looking into in the future.
Michelle, you might want to talk a little bit about how the evidence base is linked to the CDC so everybody knows the importance of that.
Okay. With the Department of Health, they have the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention grant. And through that grant, there's a section of that grant that is specifically for falls prevention initiatives. With that, we also have to develop goals and strategies and actually do some programs for the residents in the state of Florida. So one of those programs that we've focused on has been the Tai Chi Moving for Better Balance, because that's also recognized by the Administration on Aging, which is funding that the Department of Elder Affairs receives. So between the Department of Elder Affairs funding and the Department of Health's funding from the Centers for Disease Control, we've tried to focus, on that one program, since both federal agencies recognize that program. Now, the Administration on Aging recognizes A Matter of Balance, so we've been able to move that program to, in certain areas that have been wanted that program. So I'm going to go into a little bit further on each of those specific evidence-based programs. The Tai Chi Moving for Better Balance is a 12-week program. It's a 8-form movement. It's a slow-moving form. It's pretty, the easiest way to explain it is like it's a beginner-level Tai Chi type program. And they go ahead and learn, the 8 forms, during the course of the 12 weeks. But it's to decrease the number of falls and risk of falling in older adults. And then there's benefits of social engagement with others in the community, in the classes, and then they learn how to balance and strength and functioning and everything. So it's a delivered program for the seniors. Actually, there's huge waiting lists in some areas of the state for the specific program. And the other day, I was even asked for if the two state agencies were offering any more training for instructors. And right now, neither one of the state agencies have additional funding at the moment for additional instructors in the state. So I've been referring them to the organization, the Oregon Research Institute, who designed the Tai Chi Moving for Better Balance program, to go ahead and see if they were able to, connect with them to offer the instructor training to them. So I know there's costs involved that, they probably had to fly to Oregon to get trained, but that organization said they'd look into it further. So the next one is on A Matter of Balance. It's an 8-week program. They do exercises, and they do like a session where they sit down and they learn about falls prevention. But they go ahead and it reduces the fear of falling. So there's a slight difference in that program where they were showing differences, but the benefits are pretty similar. They do strength training and exercises, and they also do problem solving as well with that workshop. So my next slide is what you can possibly do to help out. So we just recommend that you might be willing to be an advocate for falls prevention initiatives, which I know Mark and Don have been huge advocates in this area for falls prevention initiatives, so thank you again for that. But you might want to, host some falls prevention awareness day activities. You might want to go ahead and increase the opportunities and funding for the evidence-based interventions. In West Palm Beach, actually, the community got involved because they knew there was a need for Tai Chi Moving for Better Balance, and they all gone ahead and, got together, and they actually brought the instructor from Oregon down to go ahead and expand their instructors within that area. So it's rather inexpensive to bring him down. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people have been going with the Tai Chi Moving for Better Balance, because it's an inexpensive falls prevention initiative. Then there's also, looking at other ways that you could go ahead and reduce the incidence of falls with the state agencies to try to go ahead and reduce those numbers. So we're always looking at different ways. So if you have, something new and, innovative that you want to go ahead and share with us, we're always looking for different things that we could share amongst the state and amongst the nation as well. So I do have some other handouts that I would like to go over. This month is also Older Americans Month, so the Administration for Community Living, they put out this flyer that also talks about falls prevention initiatives and fire safety and medication management. But there's also another one that the National Council on Aging developed. It's 6 steps to prevent falls. We usually use this and pass this out to the seniors, and all these tools that I'm showing to you today are available on the National Council on Aging's website, so you could go ahead and print these off. But they've asked us to share this out, so that the seniors are aware of how to go ahead and try to reduce their incidence of falling. But step 1 was to find a good exercise program, so maybe referring them to the Matter of Balance program or the Tai Chi Moving for Better Balance program. Talking to your physician, reviewing your medications, then checking your vision and your hearing as well, and then also, doing a home safety check to make sure, slip rug, the rugs and stuff like that, if there's any hazards or anything in their homes, and then also talk to your family members, because falls are not just for seniors, they're for everyone, because, I unfortunately have fallen many times as well. I wear glasses, and just my distance and perception, changes when I look down and stuff. So I know how I have to tilt my head a little bit. So falls is not just for seniors, but for all ages. Then there's the National Council on Aging also put out this flyer. It's the Falls Prevention Awareness Day activities. So you might want to take a look at these activities that they've listed here. This is not only, this is all different kind of states that have put in. Ours is on the webcast on the back page. But one of the things that was mentioned last year that was a huge success in several of the states is that they did a flash mob of the Tai Chi Moving for Better Balance program. So that was something that was discussed on last week's conference call, and it was just interesting hearing how their success stories were. I know in our state, instead of calling it a flash mob, several areas did demonstrations of Tai Chi. So they didn't want to actually just, do a flash mob concept, but they wanted to do demonstrations. So I just wanted to share that information with everyone today. And maybe you guys could, come up with some innovative activities and stuff for National Falls Prevention Awareness Day, or if you want to do it a week or whatever. So thank you for letting me speak today. Does anybody have any questions?
In the past, Michelle, you've been very helpful with alerting us on the grants and that sort of thing that are coming forward. I mean, I know every once in a while I want to go flying by, and I'll send it to Don. He's already seen it, and we look at can we do it, and I know they get to Cary, and they also get to the police department as well. So we thank you for your grant support. But I guess my question is do you see down the road, because I know a lot of the funding got cut, especially on the CDC side. Do you see coming down the road anything that we can be kind of mindful of that might be a benefit to this city, because you know how well we
There is a grant opportunity out right now for falls prevention initiatives. Both state agencies are not applying for it. I know we've been asked, if the Department of Health was applying for it, and then I also know that people have been asking us if the Department of Elder Affairs is applying for it. With staffing and everything like that, both state agencies, neither state agency is prepared to go ahead and be able to apply for it. But I don't see that being a problem for an outside organization to go ahead and apply for those grants. Okay. Unless it specifies in the grant, and I don't remember if that one did or not. I don't think it did, whether it had to be a state agency. But I think a couple other people in the state are looking at that one particular grant that I'm talking about, and I don't remember the name off the top of my head at the moment.
Okay. Well, if you get a chance, please send us that, because we can have Don and Cary and the chief take a look at it, see what we can do, and with our city manager, if there's anything there that we can make use of.
I can definitely send that to you.
They're all pretty creative and making use of that money, as we know. So.
Very good. I have a comment. Thank you, Michelle, for coming. And I know that there's always a lot of emphasis on falling with respect to the elderly, but there are a lot of younger folks like you and myself who have medical conditions, and I've experienced quite a few falls myself, and a lot of things you can do to prevent those falls and
Yes.
to make it better for yourself. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thomas, do you have anything?
I don't.
Were copies of these handouts made available
Yes,
on the back?
there
page?
are copies on the table, so if anyone missed being
Good.
by
This is-
handing
this
them
is
out,
very
they are
helpful.
on the table
Yeah.
back there as well.
Good. I encourage people to pick those up. We really appreciate your coming and talking to us, and right now I'm going to open this up to citizen comments, and you can have a seat over there, and if any questions are asked, then you can come back and answer those for us. So right now I'm going to open this up for citizen comments.
Dale Abrams, resident. I am a Meals on Wheels volunteer since 2007. I have a hands-on with the seniors.
Address the council, please, Ms. Abramson.
Are you giving this information to Meals on Wheels people?
Ms. Abramson, please address the council.
Are we giving this information to Meals on Wheels volunteers to discuss with the residents that we deliver meals to? Okay?
We'll take all the...
I've been doing it since 2007, and I actually do a hands-on when I go into the home. I look at things, and if there's issues, then I contact the supervisor for Meals on Wheels.
Okay, thank you. Any other citizen comments? Okay, I'll close citizen comments for this. Michelle, would you care to address the Meals on Wheels question?
No, I can answer that, too.
And Okay, go ahead.
No, me- As a matter of fact, tomorrow, I'm giving a presentation to the Aging Matters in Brevard, and that's the organization, as you know, runs Meals on Wheels. So I'm going to go do their staff meeting tomorrow and talk to all their caregivers. They've got about an hour's worth of presentation. So they are taking a look at it and trying to implement it out in the field. It'll be a slow process moving that out in the field, of course, but because a lot of these folks just don't know enough about falls and how to address them when they go to individual homes. So yes, we are going to implement that tomorrow.
Michelle, I just want to thank you again for coming and spending some time with us and driving down from Tallahassee to give this presentation. And with that, I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 950.
We have a motion by Mr. Montanaro to approve resolution 9.
You got
It's
to
got
read
to
it.
be read first.
Oh, yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Resolution number 950, a resolution of the City of Satellite Beach, Brevard County, Florida, relating to supporting the Communities for a Lifetime initiative through the Florida Department of Elder Affairs and the Brevard County Commission on Aging, participating and implementing Communities for a Lifetime programs, promoting the concept of keeping seniors in their homes and communities to age in place, providing an effective date, and providing for an adoption.
And I'll make that motion.
Yeah, we have a motion by Councilman Montanaro, second by Councilman Breimer, to approve Resolution 950. Is there any other council discussion?
One thing. Michelle, this resolution, we're the first, as far as I know, and Courtney could tell you probably a little bit better. Courtney's actually the one that's been working on putting this together, but this is going to the Space Coast League of Cities, all so that we can revitalize this whole process. As far as I know, we're the first ones in Brevard County to readopt this process. So you're certainly welcome to this resolution and can share it with other cities if you would like. But we're back on board with this.
I'll bring this back to the department
Okay.
and share it with them.
And I think at the next league meeting, we'll probably have some movement there on moving this back as well. So, Ms. Courtney and I are going to present at the next league, so.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Any other council comments? Lenore, would you poll the council, please?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Breimer?
Yes.
Councilman Montanaro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gott?
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Michelle, thank you on behalf of the council for coming and giving this presentation and passing out this very interesting information. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is to discuss, take action on the expenditure from the Community Services Fund to purchase items for the DeSoto tennis courts.
Thank you, Council. We're asking for you to approve the expenditure of $799.30 from the Community Services Fund to purchase a computer and monitor for use by the staff at the DeSoto tennis courts. That's it. This will be replacing a computer that's 8 years old.
Okay. Was Carrie going to give a presentation?
I don't, unless you want more information than that.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure of $799.30 from the Community Services Fund to purchase a computer and monitor for the use of the staff at DeSoto tennis courts.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Breimer and a second by Councilman Montanaro to approve the expenditure and all the rest of that long motion.
Yep.
Is there any council discussion on the motion? This time I will open it up for citizen comments on the expenditure of $799.30 for a new computer and monitor for the DeSoto tennis court.
Just not a can you do me a favor and move your mic a little bit more towards you? It's not coming through the speaker real well.
Me?
Yes, ma'am. No offense.
That's all right.
I never thought I would ever say you're not loud.
That's all right. Is this better?
Yes, ma'am. It actually is. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Any council, citizen comments? Okay.
Jerry Hudson, President, Satellite Beach. This is a case of OPM, other people's money. The reason stated in the support package for this is that Windows XP is no longer being supported by Microsoft. Wow, that just happened. We didn't know this a long time ago that it was going to happen. So, we need a new operating system. Spend $100, $130 to buy a new operating system. Computer should work. 8 years old? I have computers older than 8 years old that still work. Computer monitor? Is the current monitor broken? Then it should be useful. It should be able to be used in any computer. Let's say that the IT guy has decided that the hard drive is failing. Okay, well, you buy a new hard drive. But the only reason you go out and buy a new computer is if the motherboard's failed. Then it just makes economic sense to buy a new motherboard and all the associated memory, because new motherboards aren't backwards compatible typically. If you had to buy a new computer, I just went to Walmart, looked on their site. They had desktop computers, more than enough to do anything that the tennis courts could possibly want to do, from anywhere from $330 to $650. That includes a monitor. Thank you.
Are there any other citizen comments? If not, I'll close the citizen comment portion. Ms. Barger, do you care to address?
Sure. We are looking, this computer will likely cost less than what we're quoting here. We often give you a higher amount so we don't have to come back if we miss something. Additionally, all of our computers in the city are on a 5-year replacement cycle. Some of those have lapsed in the last 5 years, given the economic condition. But we don't keep computers a long time here and replace things like hard drives and things like that, because when you have up to 50 computers, that's too much staff time and too much, it just takes too much operating time to where it actually becomes a bigger cost than it is a savings for us. So once the computer gets to the point of needing a new operating system, we're not going to spend money for a new operating system for an 8-year-old computer. So that's generally how larger organizations with multiple computers operate. So we, at the point of 8 years old, we consider that old, and we begin to replace them.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other council discussion on
Yep.
that?
What happens to the old computers? Are they donated to?
Yes.
To like schools or? Where?
It depends on the organization at the time. Usually our IT director tries to, we used to try to sell them, but at this point when they're this old, sometimes they're not sellable. So we start donating them to, I think our science guy takes them sometimes. And
I couldn't hear that.
Our science guy takes them sometimes.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So there's
Mr.
different
Fine.
areas, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there any further council discussion?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, I think Adam also has a
Talk
plan.
into the microphone, please.
You can bring two, I believe he has a plan also where you can bring two back to the Best Buy and get a discount for the next things that you buy there. So he's got a handle on just about everything that you can do with these computers.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Then would you poll the council, please?
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilman Montanaro?
Yes.
Councilman Breiler?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gott?
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. The next item is discuss take action on the renewal of the rental agreement with the Satellite High School Robotics Club to utilize the Oleander Room in the Satellite Beach Civic Center.
Thank you, Council or Vice Mayor. We're requesting basically approval to enter into another agreement with Satellite High School Robotics Club. At the last year, when we approved this, it was a big agreement with lots of stuff in it. At this point, we've had a year where we actually literally had no issues. So we just would like your permission to enter into a regular, typical lease agreement that we have with any of our facilities and use that form that we normally use, but we just need your permission to do that, considering it's an arrangement in which we are waiving their fees.
Council discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of the rental agreement between the City of Satellite Beach and Brevard County School Board on behalf of Satellite High Robotics Club for the period June 1st, 2014 through May 31st, 2015.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Montanaro, second by Councilman Breimer, to approve the renewal of the rental agreement between the city and Brevard County. Any discussion on that motion?
This is a great program that the kids that are interested in robotics have a place to go, they have a place to use, and, it's another way of keeping kids off the street, whether it's baseball, football, soccer, or whatever. We've got kids that are interested in something, and we're providing them a venue to be able to do those things. So, I thought this was a good idea last year, and I still think it's a good idea.
Can I ask one question? Because I spoke with Trevor, and maybe I had a misunderstanding. Have they used the room? Okay, I thought there was an issue with the school using the city facility, or? Okay.
No, I think the issue was that the people who signed it last year didn't have the authority to sign it.
Oh, okay, all right, so I thought there was something I didn't.
But they were using the room, and I remember seeing the little robots running around.
Okay, I didn't remember what the issue was.
Any other council discussion?
Nope.
Okay, at this time, I'll open this agenda to citizen comments. Does anyone wish to speak on this?
Dale Abrams, citizen. I would like to put on the record to thank Trevor Lowing for putting this project together. I know he's very interested in robotics, and his children are, and there's a lot of other children in the community that are interested in this. And who knows, maybe someday we'll have drones flying around looking at docks.
Any other citizen comments? Seeing none, I'll close the citizen comment portion. Any other discussion on the motion by the council?
No.
Lenore, would you poll the council, please?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Breimer?
Yes.
Councilman Montanaro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dodd?
Yes, motion carries unanimously. The next item is ordinance discussion, take action on ordinance 1092. Mr. Beadle, you want to read it, please?
Ordinance number 1092, an ordinance of the City of Satellite Beach, Brevard County, Florida, amending the Satellite Beach City Code site plan review procedures, amending Section 30-209A by altering review duties of Planning and Zoning Advisory Board for site plans, and Section 30-209 sub C regarding timing of review of site plans, amending Section 30-212 by eliminating review of site plans by Beautification Board, amending Section 30-301 by amending threshold for Planning and Zoning Advisory Board and City Council review of site plans to parcels over 5 acres, amending Section 30-303 regarding site plan technical requirements, providing for severability, providing for repeal of inconsistent provisions, providing an effective date. It's the second reading of ordinance number 1092.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1092 on second reading.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Breimer and a second by Councilman Montanaro to approve ordinance 1092 on second reading. Is there any council discussion?
Yeah, we have a revision here. What were the changes, or anything substantial, or?
All of it's editorial. There's been no substantial, but I could just kind of give you a run through if you'd like. We, in the title, on the 6th line, we changed, at the last word, we changed it from repealing to amending, because that was just a mistake. In the first whereas, we changed County's Economic Development Council to Commission. We spelled out SNAP.
Oh,
okay. In the last whereas, 3rd line, we took out the word adopted on the last letter, or the last word of the 3rd line. In the next page, on section 30209-2, A2, we changed the order of those words just to make more sense. So it basically, we just moved the word conditional uses up, and we thought that made better sense. That was pretty much the only reason. And then on the page 3, the last change was we took out the words "for the various" on 3212A, where it says proposed beautification programs to the city council which the board deems appropriate, and it says for the various, and that's always been there, and we didn't really understand what that meant, so we took out the words "for the various." The rest were commas and colons.
Any other council discussion on the motion? At this time, I'll open it up to public comments on ordinance 1092. Seeing none, I'll close council, public comments, and back to the board. Any further discussion by the council?
Just one comment. John, I talked to Dave Mastro. I was telling him about working on this, and this is a compliment, so you don't have to answer anything. But he's working on expanding the back of his building and that sort of thing. But he said thank you for your help and assistance with all that moving forward. So I told him we were kind of working on this and trying to streamline the process moving forward. So they were glad to hear that. But anyhow, I just want to give you that feedback.
I will say the next step in the process is I will take the approved ordinance to submit it to the EDC on June 4th, which is the next EDC meeting that will be discussing the SNAP application. And at that meeting, we hope to be approved for SNAP certification.
Right.
Okay. Any other comments by the council? Linda, would you poll the council, please?
Councilwoman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Montanaro?
Yes.
Councilman Breimer?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gott?
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is the agenda items for the next regular council meeting.
We will be adding quite a bit to this, I think, but one thing that you don't see on here is we will have hopefully the Shell Street easement with Mr. Allison's property, so we can finish that project. It is a city road, so it'll go to the city council. So hopefully the lawyers will approve that, and it'll get on the agenda. Then we'll be providing a certificate of appreciation to one of our beautification board members for 21 years of service. And then we'll be asking you to take a look at a policy regarding mobile vending trucks at city parks. And then we'll be talking about the city attorney's attendance at the Florida Municipal Attorney Association, and we probably will have likely a couple more items to add by the time we get to that meeting.
I have one question. There was a commitment to have the board procedures on the first meeting in June. Is that going to happen?
Board procedures.
Board policy and procedures?
That's not going to happen.
Oh, that's right.
There was a commitment to have that done.
Okay. I'll look into it and see if we can get that done.
It's not going to happen.
Okay. Maybe the second meeting.
OBE, as they say, overtaken by events. Okay. Last item on the agenda is the adoption of the minutes for the April 16 regular meeting and the May 7 workshop meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 16th regular meeting as submitted and the May 7th workshop meeting as submitted.
Have a motion to approve is submitted by Councilman Montanaro. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Breimer. Is there any discussion?
Yes, there is discussion. I noticed that the minutes were done verbatim, and on the second page it's underlined, and Ms. Scott says, and I want a copy of that 5-page chronology of events and a letter from the staff and the senator to be attached to the minutes of this meeting. That was underlined, but yet further on down, I say I would appreciate it if actually all those documents are attached to the minutes, which was the 26 pages. I have no problem with that. So the reality is, what did this board agree to attach to the minutes? The 5 pages are all 26 pages.
Well, I'll speak to this since this was my agenda item. You did not specify what documents you were talking about, and very clearly I had referenced 3 particular documents to be attached. When you made those comments about having those documents in full and attaching them, I thought that you were talking about the 3 that I had referenced. Furthermore, that chronology really summarizes the other documents that were in that packet that you all did receive a copy of. So at this point, the appropriate attachment to those minutes would be those 3 documents that I had discussed and referenced.
Well, I thank you for your opinion, but I think it's up to the board to decide which documents need to be attached. And then further in the minutes, again, I have some real issues with the way that things are being put in the minutes subjectively, subjectively providing dishonest statements. I prefer that the full verbatim minutes be attached to the minutes as part of the minutes, because this is very subjective. I'm not going to support these minutes as they're presented.
The minutes, as written here, make it clear that they are stating what I was stating, and I did refer to them as dishonest statements. And so that, since they are referencing my comments, then it's appropriate to have it in here like that.
And then I stated more than just that statement at the end, and that's what I'm saying. You know, it's what you stated versus what I stated, so I would like the verbatim portion of the minutes put in the transcripts and a decision by this board whether the 5-page chronology is what they wanted attached to the minutes or else just 26 pages that were in your hand that day.
Okay, there's a motion to approve as submitted and a second. Is there any amendment? Okay, hearing none. Lenore, you want to poll the council?
Nope.
Yes.
Yes.
That was 3-1, wasn't it? Is that what I heard? Okay, the minutes are approved as submitted by majority vote. Does anyone have anything further? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.
Mayor, Vice Mayor Scott, could I remind everybody that the Hartman flag observation is Friday, May the 30th at 2 p.m. at Atlantic Plaza?
Hartman flag is
May 30th.
Oh.
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Yeah, I will say it for me. I can't hear.